Alright, episode 4
Yeah.
of the Skiddy Kelu show. 4 episodes in. We're making incredible pace through the podcasting world.
Incredible. Mhm.
How you doing on this fine Friday afternoon?
Today I'm chilling for the most part. I've been kind of resting a little bit. I fucked up my knee a few weeks ago. I like something with one of my tendons, like my ACL's just kind of been not in my favor. So I've been resting, but I'm finally getting back out and walking again. The other day, this Wednesday, I went to Lucca, very small city. I didn't know anything really about it. It's about a 2-hour train ride from Florence. It's like a very classic old school town. It has like a 30-foot wall all around it from like 500 years ago. And you forget, like, Italy has been
30
fighting
feet?
longer than they've
Fucking
been
hell.
unified. They were fighting for like
Yeah.
800 years at a time with their neighboring towns.
The concept
Like,
of a unified Italy is very
like,
new. Because the concept of unified Germany is quite new, but I believe Italy is even newer. Like, I think up until I don't really know the history that well. Probably should, but I think up until like World War One is kind of when it became unified.
yeah, it was I think what was it, 91? It was Umberto II. I think that was the guy. Well, the first person who was allegedly like unified it was oh, it's gonna come to me. I just had it and I lost it. Fuck. The merchant family that I can't
Oh,
think of right now that
Medici's.
I said like what the Medici's, thank you. Lorenzo
Yeah.
Medici. He was a big merchant guy and he was like he'd just give gifts to everyone. He'd sell trade net with anyone, so he basically became like the de facto leader of Florence. And he's also one of the people that led to wine windows being created, which I feel
Yes.
like would go crazy if they got brought back to the States.
I'm a big fan of
Even
wine
though like
windows. Well, we could revolutionize it because the Italians and the Spaniards have the wine windows. We could do Buzzball windows, Sun Cruiser windows, White Claw windows, Jack Daniels windows. Like there's a niche in the market. There's an gap in the market, shall I say?
the Henny Hatch.
The Henny.
Where's the bond?
That would do fucking numbers
Like,
in Memphis. I'll tell you that for free, dude. Imagine the
oh,
LeBron Henny through a random ass window when you're walking home from like a
yeah, the
Bruins
whiskey
game at
windows.
2 a.m.
They'll go crazy. Dude, there's a market for it, but they were illegal. People just couldn't buy street space, so they
Yeah, I
literally
remember you
just
saying that.
they'd have wine, but they just drill it. Did I say this on the podcast already?
I don't know if it was on the
Fuck.
pod. You definitely told me
Uh,
about it, but I'm not sure if it was on the pod or because I don't think people realize we do speak outside of the pod. I don't think
yeah,
it's a bit
we're
meta
actually
that
friends
bit
outside of the
bit meta
pod.
that. No, we actually met
Yeah,
through
yeah,
through Spotify.
yeah. I didn't know this guy until we got a Spotify
All the
deal.
stories from
Still
us
don't. No.
being 8 are all AI.
Yeah, exactly. Well, apparently Sora is shutting down. I'm very happy about that. The fucking
What
video
is?
generator. Sora AI is like a big like video generate. A lot of the AI companies I'm seeing are shut down. Very
That's
happy about
good.
that. I like
That's
human
good.
art.
Yeah, we don't. It's just all slop. It's just like it's efficient and it's easier, but it just defeats the point of why we create, of why we make things. We don't just make it just to churn it out. We make it to kind of like. So it's like, what's the point? The whole point of filmmaking is that human interaction. We're actually speaking about this in university right now. So just to kind of get rid of that, just for the sake of like convenience and just kind of, it's like a half baked product. It's like the first time I made bread, I
Yeah,
fucked it up and it was like medium rare bread. That's how AI feels compared to like human art. I saw this video I liked the other day
and
that
they're like,
said,
oh, done so much
yeah,
better.
it said every
But
single thing
like,
you saw in the world up until like last year was designed by a human, whether it be a label on a heater or a sign on a bus stop or a road sign or like some paint on the road. Like that was all done by humans, and I like that.
yeah, no, I appreciate it. Like, wh- we've lost appreciation for bad art because bad art makes you appreciate the good art that much better.
Exactly. Without
You
darkness, there's
know?
no light.
Damn right. Yeah.
MLK said that.
Well, it's just like AI's based off of all art that it could possibly collect. It's just like a massive data collection, and it
Yeah,
spits out every.
yeah.
To be fair, like most art. is based off or takes themes from some sort of piece of media. That's just how art goes now because it's been a concept for so long. It's hard to come up with. Well, you can obviously come up with original concepts, but like to have something truly original is very difficult. Like one of my chefs in the kitchen, like he said, cooking's been around for 20,000 years. None of you guys are making anything new. I just want you to like experiment
Well,
and like get your techniques down.
it's just the
And
idea of
like, because it's about
postmodernism.
repetition.
Because all we
Yeah,
know is what came before us. We don't know what's going to come after. So it's like how they say everything goes back to Shakespeare. Well, in Shakespeare's day, this was everything goes back to the Greek writers, the Greek philosophers. So this idea of postmodernism is everything we know is based off the knowledge we have before, which has come before us. That's just a natural progression of the world. That's the same case with cooking. It's the same case with films. There's no such thing as like a new type of story. Okay, there'll be a new concept for a film, and there might be a new setting or a new dynamic or new characters, but every single like type of story has been done, and people think that's a negative thing. It doesn't have to be because that means we're only going to develop that into new kind of interpretations, which I think is a pretty cool thing.
yeah, it's a gift that
1,000
keeps on
years
giving
though.
because people are gonna see like old art. I'm excited for the new Odyssey movie because that's the oldest story pretty much ever told. Well, the oldest epic, yeah, but it's now for no, I think it's been adapted to film at least once before. But now a big director and a bunch of the big actors are gonna be in it, and I bet that's gonna be a great movie.
That's cool. I'd be willing to see that. I don't see loads of films, but I like the idea that something that old they're still making new kind of workings of it today. I think that's very very intriguing, to say the very least.
I also saw a 1,000-year-old dead guy this week. He was like, I learned, so he was this guy,
Oh,
Michele from Armenia, and he
okay.
moved over to the city of what's it of Lucca, and we got to see him. He's so when I was in the Vatican, you go to the main church. Like there's a if you walk around, there's a Pope that's encased in wax, but you can see him through the window. It's made to look exactly like him, but the wax is covering his face, like his whole body. Sorry. And I was like able to go like up. You could basically almost touch the glass, but like there's a little red line. And then when I went to see this guy, it was in a church, like a normal size church, kind of like St. Maria's size. But like when you went up to like go up to like the stand, it was all like red, like what are they called, barriered off. I can send you the photo, but the guy was like 20 feet away and you could see him. He was covered in clay. It's like, that's interesting. He's been covered in clay for 1,000 years, and they say each year on June 3rd, they go in and they clean it with water. Like they put water in and they get the juice out. Like, doesn't that just kind of like, kind of deteriorate him more? Kind of like introduce, because if you want to store something, you don't introduce water to it because that breeds
Yeah.
mold.
Sure, you think the less moisture, the better. That's how mummification works in that.
But they've been doing it for 1,000 years, so it's like you can't really question it now. He's just like, well,
Yeah,
we
if
gotta
it works,
bust
don't
them
question
open,
it. You just
pour the
gotta rock
water.
with it, I guess.
He hasn't haunted us yet. Let's keep going. Like, I, I
I
don't know
watched
you
this
two at this point.
documentary by Simon Reeve, who's an incredible British kind of like travel slash adventure presenter, incredible, and he made this doc about pilgrimages, and he went to this one place in Italy, I don't know where. Oh, in the town of Pio, and this
Okay.
guy Padre Pio, and he was this kind of this saint, but he kind of rose to prominence like the 1980s and like 70s, and he kind of did a bunch of stuff back in the day that was seen as miraculous, but now it's kind of seen as sketchy. He was kind of blurring the lines a bit. He was kind of like the last
Okay.
corrupt saint, but his body's like there. You
Okay.
can see his body like fully. It's his actual body, like on view, and it's all in this tomb in this church in this small town in Italy, but it's kind of like it started off legit, but it's kind of turned into this sort of cult adjacent following. So I find that quite intriguing. There's this museum in Bristol, and it has this mummy in this sarcophagus, I believe they're called, and it honestly freaks me out. Like I've been to this museum a few times, um, and I've spoken to people and they've been like, it just freaks me out. And it's kind of like a thing. People either like don't notice it or they're completely freaked out by it. Like I actually left the museum. I actually walked out. It was a free museum. I didn't want to go anyway, but one of my friends was visiting, and she doesn't visit often. And she's like, I want to go to this museum, and we're with this group. And I'm like, fine, I guess I'll go to the stupid museum, because I just don't love museums. Like, okay, that's not true. It depends on the museum, but it has to be something I'm interested in. Baseball's museum, great. Shoe museum in Toronto, great. Like the
Natural history, or what's it, the space one in DC?
yeah, Miss
Like that
Smithsonian's
one.
great. The Kontiki Museum in Oslo, Norway, bit fucking niche, great. But I'm not just trying to go to some random like I'm not going to a museum just to go to a museum. I have to be a little interested in what's going on. In the Bristol one's just a random collection of shit from around the world, which kind of most museums are, especially in Britain. But Bristol's kind of like a shit version of the one in London. Just kind of like this is a bit of paper that we think the guy that knew the brother of the sister who invented planes had. It's like, all right, you didn't have to have that there, do you?
That's a stretch, buddy. Like,
So I went to this museum pretty much, and I didn't
I
like
get.
it. And the sarcophagus was a good excuse to leave, so I left and went to Greg's, which is a bit cretinous because everyone
Nuts.
was texting me like, "Where'd you go?"
Still
Thinking I
had
went
an
to,
appetite.
thinking I went to this different exhibit. I'm in this different room. So I went to Greg's. Like, oh, I did this museum with Greg's. I'm like, it doesn't. I left the museum. Like, why'd you do that? I'm like, I don't know. But yeah, that's really interesting. What'd you make of that experience with seeing the I guess seeing the
Uh,
old man wrapped in clay.
it- Not my first time I've seen one in the last 2 months, so I was kind of like,
Oh
okay,
yeah, of
like,
course.
but it's like it's
You
not
saw
something you see.
Francis.
Saw Francis. Well, I didn't see Francis because he's still underground, but I was as close as I could get physically.
I'll take their word for it. I bet he's there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was basically there.
Close enough.
And
Good enough for me.
also, yeah, and the Vatican. I saw a Pope. So like I don't know. It's cool. It's always like you have to reflect because it's like oh like that could be me, but like I don't know. It's like uh, this just kind of I thought about this when I was making dinner last night. Like imagine like the second guy that got crucified because everyone hears about Jesus. And they're like,
Yeah,
this
you'd be
guy
pretty
he's
tight,
been
would you?
fucking with us for way too long.
It's like being the Buzz
But
Aldrin of
but you're getting
crucifixion.
yeah, you're getting hung up. At least people are gonna remember me. At least people are gonna know because I was I died for a cause. This is a cool way to and who the fuck was that guy?
Yeah. So what cause? Could have been that good if
Jesus
we don't know.
Jesus
The
needs to
fact
go
we're
to that
speaking about
because
this
he
person and don't even know his name is probably the most he's ever gonna get spoken about. Unless it's like Bill Gates or someone that like we already know about. I don't know. But I was talking with my friend the other day. We actually got into an argument, which we don't do very often, but we got into an argument about this. Would you go to Mars if you had the chance to?
go to sorry bars.
Mars, the big red
What?
planet.
Sorry. Okay. Wait. Can I give you the hypothetical I saw? Because I like that.
Yeah,
But the
yeah, go on.
person that's supposed to go to Mars, so you will have enough fuel to get to Mars, but you will not possibly have enough fuel to get back. So you go to Mars, you cannot go back until either more people come, you've terraformed it, or you're fucked.
Yeah, fuck that.
Like, yeah, exactly. Okay, how many people am I going with? Or
Who
is
do you
this
want?
like the Martian?
Who who do you want? Well, just would you go? Yeah, like you can choose a condition, you can choose the terms, you can take who you want with you, you can choose how long you like. Would you go to Mars if you had the chance? If you got an email tomorrow that said like the offer's on the table, you hitting yes or no?
Well, the thing is, that sounds great, but I get dizzy like spinning around in my chair once or
Yeah, I
twice.
get dizzy when I stand up too quick.
I can't survive exiting the atmosphere. Like I just know myself. That's too many G's. I'm a tall guy, and the more height you get, the more G-force can be applied to you. So my neck's gonna be
So
still going on because like
would you want to go? It feels if that would hold you back, or would you not have any interest in going?
I try and be. I'd like to say yes for like the adventure of it, but at the same time. I I don't know. If I was like Well, what am I doing? Am I just going there for fun, or is there a
Just checking
setup?
it out.
Like, do we have a base, or am
No,
I?
just
Oh,
checking
am
it
I
out
just
how it
flying
is.
by and then I go back?
No,
Okay,
so
I'm
you're
just
setting foot
stopping
on the
by.
planet, but
So
there's
like,
nothing there. It's just how it is now.
oh, okay. Oh, I can just do a little like walk around, be like, all right, this sucks. There's nothing here. There's not even a fucking McDonald's.
Because the
And
reason we
go
got into
back
an
to the
argument about
fucking.
it is I would never go to Mars or space. I have zero interest whatsoever. And my friend said he would go because he won't be the first one there. But the thing is, what people don't realize, right? And I don't know why I'm arguing because we kind of agree, but it's just my argument to the world, to anyone that thinks space is cool. First of all, you're unique. Second of all, they talk about space. They say that, think about everything we've done with science, with development. Even if we go, like, an unfathomable speed, it's going to take multiple years to get there. And you get there and there's fucking nothing. That's years of your life. Like, that you could have gone on hikes. You could have spoken to a woman at a bar. You could have pet a dog. You could have breathed air in your nostrils. You could have sipped tea looking over a field
You could
on a
have lived.
crisp Sunday morning. But no, you sat in a fucking space shuttle because you want to be different. Astronauts are fucking virgins.
Had to
I
take
don't,
vitamin D capsules.
and I don't believe in space besides the moon because I've not seen it. But that's just my personal opinion. Just want to get that off my chest and into the world.
That's fair.
Like, I
The
don't believe
moon is
in.
way
It's the
better
same
when there's
reason I
just
don't believe in
cheese.
God because I've not seen him. And I have nothing against people that believe in God. A lot of my friends are very religious. I just don't believe in God myself because I've not seen him. It's the same thing with space. The thing is, I don't get how people can believe in Neptune and not believe in God. So you're telling me that Mars, which is the third planet from the sun, is going to take multiple years to get there, and we're going to get there in our lifetime. But the ninth planet from the sun, we know what color it is, we know what it's made out of, we know how big it is, we have a photograph of it. Bull fucking shit. And motherfuckers will believe in that and then say God isn't real because they've not seen it. Because there's no proof. Bitch, there's no proof of Neptune either. Everyone's talking about pollution we plant or
There is
not.
no proof.
We wouldn't even know it's there. Also, who fucking cares? We got enough problems to figure out.
Pluto's
The
just a little
Tesco meal
bitch.
deal is £3.80. There's no more pitchers
This
batting in the National League. Tua Tagovailoa is still playing football. There are real issues in the
should have
world
retired.
that are not being addressed because we're too busy fucking off to space. And quite frankly, I'm sick of it. If I was ever a billionaire, I would destroy NASA. I would destroy SpaceX. There's no need. All right, sorry. I keep it positive, but
No,
I was sitting on that for
no,
a
no, no.
while.
You were pro rants and side tangents.
This podcast is
How else
built
are you
off
supposed to
rants.
voice your opinion without pointing a finger and making yourself known?
I'm going for like that ESPN kind of meltdown, like they're just looking at the camera, like that Skip, the one that isn't Shannon, Skip Bayless. What's his, you know what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
talking about? Yeah, no, dude,
Yeah, yeah.
his meltdown after the USA almost got knocked out of the World Cup. They didn't even get knocked out of the World Cup. They almost got. They pretty much they drew to Wales and had to beat Iran to get into the next round, which they fucking did. But he was losing his mind. Well, they realized that like I think they didn't watch soccer, and they realized that the U.S. men's team like wasn't really that good. They realized like we hadn't beat a European team in a while, and they were freaking out because like, okay, at basketball saying that'd be bad, but like, for example, like last World Cup, the U.S. men's team lost to the Netherlands, who are like a pretty solid team. Like normally, I thought they would win that, so like that's still like a decent performance, but they didn't really understand that because they didn't watch soccer, so they were kind of freaking out over stuff that like wasn't really an issue. It'd be like a Hornets fan having a meltdown for not making like top five. It's like, dude, no one really thought you were. Like,
Well, okay, sorry. Mentioning the Hornets. The Hornets have the largest point margin for wins out of any team. They win by an average of 18.8 points.
dude, they're on a
What?
roll. I knew they'd
Like,
be good this year. I knew that Connor's gonna have a
but
big
like,
year. Lonzo is Lonzo.
eh,
No, fuck Lamelo. Sorry,
Lamelo,
Lamelo. But
him and his
yeah,
hot
no.
Cheetos.
Power to them. They got Kobe White now. Like, to reach a point that he left the Bulls, went to the Hornets for a more desirable place to play. They're going to go on a playoff run. They're really close to clinching a playing position. The Bulls and the Bucks have some. They've got some work to do.
No, for sure. I mean, Giannis just got to get out of there. I don't think he wants to. I think he just wants to play for Kalshi now. Like,
I respect him for thugging it
that
out.
really. I mean, I like Giannis, but like that's really messed with me.
Yeah. Well, I respect him for staying at the Bucks, but he's got to go. Unless he goes to the Knicks, actually, he doesn't have to do that. But dude, he should just go to the Lakers and they can just be a super team.
Just give the fan editors exactly what they want. I hate the Luka and Jokic one because that one makes me throw up seeing those two both in a Lakers uniform.
Yeah.
Sorry, did we even get to talk about Bam's 83?
I don't think we did. I don't think we've done a pod since.
It's so late, but we still gotta.
Well,
like
it
just happened.
Because in England, some of my friends watch basketball, but quite a few of them don't. So the ones that do, we're trying to explain it in football terms and soccer terms, so people can understand it. And like, think of a slightly above average player doing something that hadn't been done since Kobe Bryant, obviously one of the best to ever play the game, and getting the second highest points tally since the time Wilt Chamberlain allegedly dropped 100 in a game where the average score was 12 points a game. But so we're talking about because this is no disrespect to Bam. But I think it's completely fair to say he's an above-average player and nothing more. He was Jimmy Butler's second-hand guy. We knew he'd score more points since Jimmy left, but we didn't think he'd drop what could very well be the most points scored in a game in the National Basketball Association. Because Wilt's isn't confirmed. This could be the most points ever.
Yeah, I said that.
And this is probably going to be... I don't want to say probably, because the way the game changes... I think it's realistic to say we're going to see someone break that in our lifetime, but this could be... We're not going to see this be done for a very long time.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. 43 free throws, man. He set the record on free throws, too. I mean, you got to get it done somehow.
Dude, if Shea did that, people would not let him forget it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean... People don't let anything slide for Shea.
Well, it's one of those things.
Just like Jaylen Brown hit him with his own move.
Yeah, it's like, well, Shea does foul bait. That's one thing, but I think it's not just you should never fault someone for just getting a lot of free throws because if they're foul baiting, there's one thing. Like I hate Brunson for that, whatever. I don't mind Shea, but I definitely get the criticism.
You're a Sixers fan. You've watched Embiid for the last half decade.
Yes, exactly.
You're intimate with it. And you had Harden on the same team. Like, you're intimate with it.
Those were interesting days. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, I think it's more whether or not they're foul baiting. Because it's so weird that someone's like, they get X amount of free throws. I'm like, what's the alternative? They miss free throws? It's the same thing in soccer when people say, oh, they score a lot of goals, they're like penalty goals. I'm like, what? Do you want them to miss a penalty? Would that be more impressive? So... I see both sides of it. I think it's not so much if they get a lot of free throws because I don't think Bam really foul baits in my opinion. To be honest, I'm not saying play loads. Yeah, which makes sense. He's on 83, but yeah,
Bam's a defensive guy. His high score, like his highest career scoring night before that was 40, and then he doubled that.
Well, I'll check the notifications because they're updating once he hit like 40, every 10 points, the NBA app will send a notification. And I'm checking it. I'm like, oh, cool. New career high for Bam. Good for him, man. I've always liked Bam. Then I'm like, oh, okay, he dropped 50. The next time I check it, I'm like, oh, Bam's in the 70 club. This is getting serious. But I'd assume the game was pretty much over at this point because I think the 70 club is maybe like roughly 8 people. I remember Luka made it recently. I think Embiid and Luka made it recently. Embiid made it like 2 years ago. I think Luka made it either right after that or just before that. But it's like been the only kind of recent one. So that's a pretty big deal. That happens like once every other season, if that. So like, oh, cool. Like good for him, man. And then it just says Kobe's record broken. And I'm like, no fucking way. And I check it. And first I saw they scored like 150 points. It was against the Wizards, but it's still impressive.
Oh, I mean, yeah. It's still an NBA team. I mean, the fucking Wizards are a joke, but still.
But then again, they're better than they were. They've got 80, I think he's injured now. They've got 80 and Trae Young. This isn't the Wizards of the past.
Trae Young was out, I think. but still, it's
Dude,
still
I fucking
embarrassing
hope so.
either
It'd be a
way.
really
Either
bad
way.
look if
Yeah,
he
no,
joins his new team. I'm going to turn the franchise around. Then let's Bam Adebayo potentially drop the most points in an NBA game. But if anything, I just think it shows a standard in the NBA. We talk about Brian Scalabrine. I'm closer to LeBron than you are to me. And this is just further proof of that. We already knew that. It's not a surprise. But the fact that
hold
someone
on.
that's seen as like a slightly above average player is capable of even doing that, of even facilitating that, just shows the standard in this league. And it shows that anything is possible. And although the game's changed and people have what they can have every right to say, they feel like it's better or worse for whatever reason, you just can't deny that anything can happen in this league. And that's what makes it special.
But thank you for mentioning Scalabrine because I almost forgot something. My dad met him
Oh,
at a
really?
bar.
Really?
Yeah, he
Is
got
this
drinks with
recent?
him and his wife. This was very recent. This was
Dude,
within the
I
last few
love that.
weeks.
I kind of, in
Dude,
my
yeah,
head, I think they're already friends, your dad and Scalabrine. Like, I could just picture them getting along really well.
they've been in the same room. They just never introduced themselves.
Okay. Yeah, that makes
Same
sense.
guy, cut from the same mold, but a different person.
Yeah, no,
No,
that
no,
that,
weird.
that makes me really happy though. So how'd it go down? What do you tell you?
They got along. He was talking about his career. He sent like a hype up video to my brother because he's trying to get ready for the next season. He wants to try and be varsity. He's gonna
Oh
be a
yeah,
junior next year.
good for him. Yeah,
So
no,
I'm hoping he was on JV this year and he did good, but
yeah. I
he wants
remember. I
that.
remember. I think last time I went over, he just got back one of his games and he told us his stat line. I remember it was quite impressive.
Oh no, he's a bucket. He's way better than
Yeah,
me now.
yeah. He's a good player. He's the next installment of a long line of talented basketball players from your family.
Good. I got cut both years from
But you
freshman
were the
and
best. You were the best to
JV.
pick up by a country mile, which gives you more street credit.
That's fair. I always well, I'm always talk my shit when I'm playing street ball, and I'm just gonna back you
Well, our
down if I
street ball
beat
had fucking lore as well. It's like all we talked about
you. Yeah,
for a solid 2 years.
that's true. Street ball had a lot of lore when we were
Yeah.
growing up.
I remember I wasn't
I
really
mean,
involved with you guys as much at this point. But I think like our sophomore year, you guys made a summer league. It's like you made a draft. It's like all you talked about for like a while. And I remember, even though I
dude,
wasn't really involved, I like kind of knew all the kind of like the teams and the players and who was gonna go where and
once
yeah,
he
no,
got
like
disqualified
that
for
was
I forget what
serious.
reason. Oh,
Would have run that
dude, no,
back.
we were legit. We had four. Honestly, I'd 100% do it. I'd love to just have some bullshit basketball league playing. Just somewhat competitive. I feel like would be very fun.
We should
But
do like a
that
like
was good.
a 3v3 league with like 4 teams because that's doable, dude. Cause like it's unrealistic like at this point
That's
in our
very good.
lives to get everyone, but like if we do like a 2-3 week long like 4v4 league, that is very doable.
Absolutely.
Even if we do a tournament, we should do that. We should actually do that. I'd be so down. I mean,
We can definitely. We
I'm
can
obviously not
I
good at
do.
basketball, but
Nothing.
I'd be like, I'd be the commissioner and I'd play like the last 2 minutes. I'd be like, um, I'm trying to think of like a white American energy guy. I'd just be one of them.
Charlie Kelly when he was reffing drunk for that one game in Always Sunny, and then he blocks the kid's shot and runs the court.
Yes, I
That's
watched an
you.
episode not too long ago. That'd be
Yeah.
me. That'd be me. I'd be like TJ
Yeah,
McConnell
the
before,
ultimate energy guy.
but not when he's good.
Not when he's good. Okay.
I'd be like TJ
So like
McConnell when
20 years
Halliburton's
followers. I
fully
don't know.
healthy. No, I'd be Mac McClung. I'd like do a cool thing.
Dude, you'd be the go to the G League. Also, why isn't he in the NBA? He broke the G League scoring record.
I don't
Like
know.
he has the most points
I don't know
in
to be
G League
honest. I think
history.
he should be. I mean, when he was in the Sixers organization, I remember me and quite a few of the fans were like, "Give him a go, dude. He can't be worth some fucking dude. I don't know, whoever the fuck we were playing back then. I don't want to say any names because
At
I
least
actually
you can
quite like them,
dunk.
but we had some crazy ass motherfuckers. And Braun is doing better this year, which is good to
Maybe
see.
I'm happy for him. I wanted him to do better.
Me too. Me too. Speaking of sports, today I have a very baseball themed episode prepared for us. Obviously, opening day was yesterday. Our beloved Boston Red Sox beat the Cincinnati Reds 3-0. It was on at 8 p.m. for me. Watched the whole thing. Got one of my friends to watch the whole thing. He wants to go to Fenway now, even though the game wasn't even at Fenway. I just did such a good job having it at Fenway that he wants to go now. Which we got to get to some Sox games this summer as well. But pretty much, we could start off, because we both played. We are some T-ball warriors back in the day. We fucking ruled suburban Massachusetts. I remember my coach threw me a fly ball. Didn't even hit it. He threw me a fly ball in the outfield before a playoff game. We were warming up. And I didn't catch it, and it hit me in the face. I needed 9 stitches. And I missed the game. And that was the only game from that playoff series that we won. And it's not because I was hurt. It's because the team rallied behind me, is what I was told.
I saw you the next day. I was like, "What the fuck happened?" Like,
I think I was in sixth grade. Sixth grade, yeah. I was all bandaged up. I was a fucking warrior, though.
Dude, I mean, the team had a rally behind you. That was
I was out for the
clearly
rest
some
of the season,
electricity.
which was a solid 2 games because we got swept. Not swept, actually. As I just said, we won that 1 game. But yeah, I loved baseball as a kid. Baseball was everything. I'm still really into it, but we'd play it. My grandfather was a season ticket holder with the Red Sox. He'd always dismiss us from school to go to Fenway. That was the best. Because people only got dismissed for like a dentist appointment, like a doctor. So I'd be getting dismissed, and everyone's like, "Oh, you have an appointment?" I'm like, "No, I'm going to the fucking Red Sox," which is so gangsta for my grandfather. Like I think I obviously really enjoyed it at the time, but I think I didn't realize how cool it is until now. I think I'm like, dude, that's fucking sick. But yeah, I remember I saw Brock Holt was my favorite ever player hit for the cycle at Fenway. What are some of your like T-ball stories that have stuck in the dome after all these years? Or like Little League series? Because nothing beats Little League, dude.
Little League, nothing beat. It's just so much. So I have one that really pissed me off, and I have one that was like my highlight. I'll give you the one that pissed me off. It was a 3. So I step up to the plate. I'm at bat. The count was, I think I had a full count, and pitch comes at me. Right, I'm a righty. Ball hits me in the hand because I'm trying to block it. It's coming inside, and it bounces off my hand. And as my bat's going back, it bounces off the bat, and the ref or the ump says that's a foul ball. I'm going, you fucking kidding? It hit me in the hand. Did you not see that?
Yeah,
Did
take
you
your
not hear
base,
that?
mate.
It was in play. It was in play. And I obviously the next pitch I swung and struck out. And I think we lost by like 1 run. And this was the year that I was like a savage. Like 1 year. I got trained by a MLB player for 1 year, and I was a savage at baseball.
Fuck
And this
hell.
was when
Which
I was
MLB
fat too,
player?
so I could hit 10.
If you can say.
Fucking some Haitian guy, I don't remember. He
Oh.
was probably extremely good. Well, I saw his card once, but I don't like remember if he was like a beast. Like he had to be. He made it out of the DR. I forget if it was DR or Haiti,
Probably
but
DR. They're a
he
very big
made it to the
baseball
States off
country.
baseball. Yeah, they're huge with it. And then my peak highlight before a game, like my dad was like giving me pop-ups and whatnot, and the ball just hit me right in the head. I was like, oh my God, I
Oh,
don't even want to go to
twin.
the game.
That's
I'm so
fate.
pressed. I'm so pressed. And I was like, my mom was like, you're going to the game. You're going to the game. I go to the game, like, I just don't want to be here. And
At 9 stitches, bro.
I step up to the plate. Keep in mind, you can edit out the names, but I think if I tell you the names now, it'd just be very funny for you to
Yeah, go
visualize.
on.
But I step up to the plate, second pitch, smack it. It goes right over right field's head. I'm like, oh shit, might be a
Oh, hell
double. I
yeah.
haven't had a double in a while. I'm starting running and running. Tucker's a fat ass motherfucker. He's like one of the few people in the league that was taller than me, and he does not
Oh,
run.
he
And
was
I'm
not the most
also a chubby
agile
motherfucker,
individual.
so I cannot run. But the guy in right field is probably the only other guy who's less athletic than us. We're all running. We're all running at our like own pace. We're all chugging. I'm rounding second, and I look, and he throws to the cutoff man, but it misses. So I'm like, oh my God, let's go. I make it to third. They throw to third, misses. I was like, let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. I
I
run
remember,
in immediately, start fucking crying. And then
dude,
That's my
Well, the
peak.
thing about Little League is there's that 2-3 year window in like late elementary school, early middle school, when even the kids that weren't super into baseball played baseball, and the whole town just played, and that's what made it such a special thing because it wasn't like that with other sports. Dude, I remember.
No.
I probably don't even have to say his name. You can probably just guess it. Remember, he was not. He was He ate well. This one
I think I
kid.
already know, and you haven't even gave a detail.
And I remember one time he was on my team when the Royals on in farm, and he walked up to the plate, and there was an ice cream truck. So he takes an ice cream, which is like half melted out of his bag, put the whole thing out of the cup into his hand, eats it in one bite, walks up to the plate, hits a grounder to third base, and he was so fucking slow that we were like eight, so we couldn't throw the ball. That the kid ran the ball across the entire infield and tagged him out. It was quicker to do that than to throw it because he got tagged out at first after scraping an entire ice cream in one go
Wait a minute.
in the on deck
The kid
circle.
ran from third and tagged him.
Yes. Yes, he was that slow. It was like it's like he was running
Yeah,
from
I know,
water, bro.
100%.
Yeah, it was the same kid that clogged the toilet in seventh grade, which is really fucking hard to do
The
with a
same.
school toilet. That shit would rip your clothes off half the time. Just me. But
It's also the same kid who. Sorry, I just got. He was in a knee sleeve for 3 months. I was, why are you in a sleeve, man? He said, I sat on my phone and it exploded. Or my leg.
don't tell
Yeah,
people that. Don't. Yeah, I love that we both know who it is. We've not
good.
even said his name. Remember, he kind of despawned in
Nope.
eighth grade.
Yeah, now I don't even know. I tried talking to like his closest buddy like in senior year, but he's like, yeah, that guy's off the grid.
Yeah, no, I think I spoke to the same person as well, and he kind of said the same to me. Um, yeah, dude, he's an urban legend. I heard, again,
No
this is
kidding.
all myth, but I heard that he didn't actually live in our town, and they found out in like ninth grade, eighth grade. They found out that it turns out he actually lived like a few towns over, and didn't actually live in our town, so he couldn't really go to the schools.
That would make sense.
Yeah, I remember this one coach who was low key a psychopath, high key a psychopath, and we were in this. It was in this one group, and pretty much the coach is like, "You guys are afraid of the ball." Which the thing is, I couldn't really hit for shit, but I was fast, and I always dove for the ball. I always got in front of the ball, like I was a dirt dog. I wasn't the best hitter. I wasn't really any good at pitching, but I gave it my all. So you can say what you want, but he's like, you guys are afraid of the ball. To make sure you're not afraid of the ball, we're gonna do this exercise. And the exercise was he made us like grab onto the fence like that. And he just threw balls at us until and he's like, I'm gonna do it till you stop flinching. And the other coach came over and was like, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, this will make him stronger. He's like, no, you just he's like, dude, and looking back,
You're
I don't think I told I didn't
traumatized.
really I didn't think anything of it at the time. But I think I told my parents like recently because we were talking about like we kind of doing what we're doing now, we're like reminiscent. So I think I was like, oh yeah, that one coach that would like make us hold the fence and throw balls at us to make us tougher, and I didn't realize how bad it was until I kind of said it out loud. So I think I've heard he's been arrested a few times since for unrelated stuff. I don't know how true that is, but it wouldn't fucking surprise me at all.
Makes sense.
Actually, I'm more surprised if he isn't
Oh,
currently incarcerated.
oh my God, dude, that makes way too much sense. I mean,
Yeah,
that's he
I
made his
remember we
kids
were
pay
talking about him
extra.
once, like before we were even that close. I think we were on a bus. Remember those half days at middle school when we go to those like we'd go to, like Dave and Buster's with like the rec
Yeah, the
committee.
day
I,
trips.
yeah, those are
Love those.
sick. I remember we were going back from one of those and we were both like telling stories about him. We kind of I think you had him. Did you have him for some coach or something else? I remember we had a lot of similar like kind of stories. Like we heard
I
something similar.
I vaguely remember. I feel like I had to have had. I think I had him on my team at some point. I was just like,
Yeah,
dude, your dad's a prick because he's always piping in.
to
Like
Linfield
he's always making it about himself.
to write a passage to
And he
write
like
down.
stayed back a year and went to our neighboring town, like our enemy town, just to try and get a QE position because he wasn't good enough to play for Linfield, a
Yeah.
D6 football team.
But the thing is, he moved to our neighboring town, and then his main sport was wrestling, which, because our towns are so small, we had a combined fucking wrestling team, so it made no fucking sense.
uh,
Dude, I remember that kid failed 7th grade.
yeah, he did. He stayed back 2 years actually. Then
As
he
someone that nearly failed
graduated
4th grade, I
one.
didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I failed art class, but like, fuck, man. 7th grade. That's some Ricky shit, bro.
um,
Trailer Park Boys. Oh man.
elite show, elite show. Little
Oh
League was
yeah,
the
one of
best
my
though. I have only fond memories really. I remember I always tried really hard, even though I wasn't very good. So my coach would always pick me. I remember one time a bunch of my coaches got thrown out, so I had to stand in the parking lot of the Chinese food place up on the hill, and they were like yelling coaching instructions through the bushes, like they didn't even know who was hitting half the time. But no, we had some great moments. We really did.
No kidding.
What's weird that year when the guy threw the balls at us on the fence, like we won the championship that year. And that's still my Instagram bio to this day. 2016 champion, 10-year anniversary. AAA White Sox. But that was probably the least fun year. Like, I would much rather win 2 games a year with a fun coach than go undefeated with the tryhard. Easily. Like, I remember my summer league team. I'm going to cut all these names. But it was my Big Diamond team in middle school.
Is that the Royals?
No, this is my Big Diamond team in, like, 7th
Was it the
grade.
Expos? Fuck, I feel like I
No,
played this
no,
team
no. This
before.
was. Did you do Big Diamond? So it was after Little League, before high school.
I think I stopped either
Yeah.
grade
So
seven or
the teams are
grade
just
eight.
colors. The teams are just colors, and we traveled. We played different
Okay.
towns. That team was maybe the most fun I've ever had playing baseball because we travel. So we'd go around, kind of not too far, just around the county. But we'd go around the county playing different teams. Teams we hadn't played before. We were all like in. I think I was in 7th grade for this. It was just such a fun time. We didn't win a single fucking game. We maybe won one, but like those were the days. I remember I was me in the. It was like Little Dicky dropped Earth. So like I remember I would sit in the outfield just like singing Little Dicky with this one kid. I remember we had to pull up this one kid so we had enough players. We had to forfeit, and this kid, he's like, oh, so he was a decent hitter to be fair to him. But he's like, I'm gonna need a pinch runner because I have this like thing, like my legs like bend the other way and I can't run. I'm like, bro, that's like a fucking 1930s disease. Like, how do you have this as a 13-year-old in like a developed country in the 21st century? But I was a pinch runner actually. And well, because once I got on base, I was rapid. I was a really fast kid. It's just getting on base is the tricky bit. But yeah. So the meat and cheese of this episode, or bread and butter, I guess, of this episode, is I have some old timey baseball stories that I'm going to share. Because I don't know if you're familiar, but baseball was really the first professional sport in America. 1880s around is when it went pro. So there were some really just kooky stories, just some of the most random shit you could ever possibly imagine. Okay, so we usually do True Truths and a Lie, you do to me, but we're going to flip the script this year. So what's going to happen pretty much is I'm going to tell 3 old-timey baseball stories. Or facts, I guess. Not really stories, facts. And 2 of them are correct, and 1 of them is made up. And I'm going to have you guess which one is made up. So they are all facts about this one pitcher back in the day.
Okay.
You may have heard of him by the name of Rube Waddell. Or Waddle. I'm not really sure how to say it, to be honest. So he's one of those interesting guys to ever play the game. So I'm gonna give you 3 facts about him. You're gonna guess which one is made up. When he was 3 years old, he was sorry. He would leave games to chase fire trucks. So he would leave games to chase fire trucks on numerous occasions. So if he heard a fire truck going by, he'd run outside the ground and chase it. He would wrestle alligators in the off season. And my favorite one, he allegedly, not confirmed, he allegedly taught 10 geese how to jump rope over the summer one time.
You fucker. That last one's so dumb it has to be true. I feel like it has to be allegedly true. Where is he from? Where is he from?
I don't know, to be honest. I could look it up. He's a real person. You can look him up if you want, but
Oh yeah, the fire truck one makes sense. I feel like everyone messed with
he's
fire
from
trucks
Bradford,
back in the day.
Pennsylvania. He was born
Yeah,
1876.
the alligator one's gotta be fake. There's no alligators near where he's from.
All right, so I'm a bit of a little shit. So pretty much I've disobeyed the one rule of two truths and a lie. Those were all true.
Those are all true, of
Those
course.
are all true.
God
Those are
damn.
all, or okay, like alleged, but like those are all genuine stories that will come if you look them up.
When did he pitch? I just want to know.
1890s.
18. Yeah, that's some 1890s bullshit.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, that was my original
Oh
plan.
my
I was gonna
God.
come up with two. I was gonna make one up and come with two, but I realized there's nothing funnier than the one that happened. So I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna stitch them up a bit. So I appreciate you being a good sport.
Yeah.
You can now stitch me
No,
up at
I
least
like that
once, and I
one.
can't get mad. There's a few more facts about Rube Waddell I'd like to share. So when he was 3 years old, he was
Let's hear it.
found in a fire station after going missing for several days, which kind of, I guess that explains his infatuation with fire trucks.
Okay.
He would stop playing to play with dogs out in the stands, because back then you could bring dogs to the ballpark. Bring it back, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
This is actually maybe my favorite one after the geese. He missed a game in the 1905 World Series after dislocating his shoulder in a physical altercation with a teammate involving a straw hat. Someone nicked his straw hat, he beat the shit out of them, and was so injured from doing so he couldn't play in the World Series.
He threw out his shoulder trying to throw
Yes.
fair enough.
Yes.
Don't
Like,
touch
we've
him
all
in his
been to
straw hat.
Denny's on a Wednesday night and seen shit go down, but, like, that is some next level, just hand-to-hand martial combat. Alright. After baseball,
Oh,
he became
man.
an actor. He pursued an acting career. But he could never remember his lines, so he just ad-libbed all of them. Which, I rate that. This one. I've tried so hard to find information about this. I couldn't find any more, besides the fact that one of his contracts had a clause that forbade him from eating crackers in bed. I don't know why. I don't know how. I don't know
He
how they
gets
police
crumbs
that.
everywhere.
Well, back then, and they probably
Did
didn't have
his
as big
wife
budgets,
introduce
obviously. So
it?
maybe they
Like-
had to they had to share both your teammate, maybe. So maybe if a guy walked up and they were covered in crumbs, it's like, oh yeah, you have to share them with Rube, I guess. No, but given this guy wrestles alligators as a laugh, the fact he just gets
He
a few
doesn't
crumbs in the
shower off
bed,
his crumbs.
that's pretty fucking tame in comparison. What else we got? Oh, this is mental. So in the year 1903, 2 years before the straw hat fight, in the single year, so this all happened within a 365-day span, in the year of 1903, he lived in a firehouse, got married, toured the country in a play, played professional football, and got divorced, all in the same year.
What doesn't this man do?
The thing is, like, dude, he's a professional baseball player, and a professional football player, and he's talented enough to act in a play, and he is strong enough to wrestle an alligator, and he's patient enough to teach geese how to jump rope, and he still got divorced? Without being too pessimistic, what chance have we got? If not even that man can hold down a marriage, what are we doing?
Wow, he makes me feel real bad for being single.
It does. It really
I need
does.
to fucking
Also,
find me someone.
he had such
Jump
bad
rope
spending
system.
habits that they paid him in $1 bills. Which I don't know what the
That's
salaries like back then. I think like $25 was like a grand, or like $30 like a grand. So it couldn't have been much. A dollar bill was probably still worth quite a bit. But still, I love that. Like, you know what? We don't know what the fuck he's gonna do with it. So just give it him in ones. That way he can't blow too much of it on But what's he buying? Like, if you choose to live in a firehouse, you can't be too of a materialistic guy.
It's not like he'd be gambling. I feel like he's got to save up for his next show.
Yeah, maybe alligators can't be
Like I feel like
expensive. I don't know how many animal rights there were back then, but maybe the fines from wrestling them can't be too cheap. Um, maybe
maybe he doesn't like
geese.
carpooling. He just pays
Geese could be
everywhere he goes.
expensive.
Geese,
Yeah, I wonder what he is spending it
yeah,
on.
don't feed the geese. Don't cheese
So I
doesn't
have
have a jump
a few
rope.
more
That's
facts. I'm gonna rattle off. And these are all true, by the way. In 1883, excuse me, carrier pigeons were used to update the people around Philadelphia of the scores. So after every inning, they'd give the scorecard to these pigeons, send them around the whole fucking city, bring them back, next inning, here's another scorecard. So you'd be kind of walking on the street of Philadelphia, see a pigeon. Oh, sick! Nate Eaton's got a hit. Bring it back, honestly. They should do that with parlays. Imagine a bird just swoops down, it's like,
that's
yo, your
sick.
parlay hit. Like, how are we sending motherfuckers to the moon when we can't figure out a DraftKings carrier pigeon?
Imagine getting your parlay just buffed. You just get that by carrier pigeon. Like, it's such an elegant way to find
You
out you
get
lost.
you have a carrier pigeon like deliver your divorce papers, like it's not going as well as you thought it was. Um,
You have been served by the pigeon.
Before there were rules about defensive substitutions, all I needed to do was announce that you were playing before being put into the game. So you could just be like, Skiddy playing, and just run the field. That's all I had to do. That was seen as like perfectly acceptable. So they changed the rules because Michael Kelly, better known as King Kelly, he was sitting on the bench in one game, and a pop fly was going to the dugout, and he goes, Kelly playing, and just nabbed it out of the air, and it counted as an out, which I would be so fucking pissed if I was the guy that hit it. So after that, they changed the rules, which honestly, it's one of those things like you gotta
Did
play the
you
whistle. You gotta like you can't fault him for that. It's just a good use of the rules. So what are you gonna say?
did you hear? I forget what team. Sorry, can I add one? I think it
Yeah,
was
go
the
on.
Cleveland Spiders. They were having a hard time selling tickets, so they decided to hire a small person from the local fair and have him at bat. Since, well, his hitbox is too small, they can't possibly throw a strike. And he had one at bat. He got signed by the team, and he walked in his one at bat.
Dude,
He just ducked down, and they
why
couldn't
didn't
throw a strike
why
at him.
can't they? Why hasn't that been tried again? Like, surely the White Sox or the Rockies can't get any worse. Speaking of Cleveland, trying something new to bring fans into the game, I didn't even write this down. This is off the dome. This is maybe my favorite baseball story. Do you know the legend of 10-cent beer night?
Disco discs that they threw out. Yeah, I've heard about this, I
No, no,
believe.
the baseball
This is
one.
a fucking shit show, but I love it. What am I thinking about when they threw all the disco discs on
Let me
the field
enlighten
and then
you.
they
Let me
started
enlighten
the
you.
fire?
On the 10th
I'm
of
not
June,
thinking about the Billy Joel song. Please,
on the
please.
10th of June, 1974, the Cleveland Indians, they called that at the time, they had a bit of an idea. So they played the Texas Rangers in Texas a few weeks before. And because they're going to go back to Cleveland and play another series, they asked the Rangers manager. They said, how do you feel about going to Cleveland and playing them again? And he said, they don't have enough fans for us to get worried about. That's what he said. Because the attendances were dropping, Cleveland were not doing too well. So the Indians didn't like that he said that, but they kind of knew he was right. They thought, we don't have loads of fans. So how do we change that? How do we make sure that when the Rangers come to play in our town, the stadium is packed? They go, we can't just tell them to get behind the team, get behind the city. That's not realistic. People don't care about that. We have to find something else. So they said, what if we make beers 10 cents? You might think this was 1974. What would the modern day equivalent be? Skiddy, the modern day equivalent would still be 50 cents. It was still fucking insane how cheap these beers were. It would be like going to Fenway and getting a
Oh,
beer for 50 cents or a
fuck,
dollar.
man.
So it was cheaper than the bar, which meant that people were not going for the game, they were going for unlimited 10-cent beer. What ended up happening is by the 7th inning, roughly, I believe, fans got so drunk that one of them stormed the field and tried to take this guy's hat, and the player pretty much kicked this fan in the leg. And what happened is all the fans rushed the field. The Rangers ran on the field with bats and tried to fight them back. The Cleveland police had to go on with these bats. All three bases were stolen. The stadium organist, started playing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" over the organ to try and calm down the crowd. Didn't work, and they had to send in the Cleveland riot police to shut it down. The radio announcer was punched in the face by a fan, and there were a few streakers. And so what they did is no one was too severely injured, but obviously it was a disaster. It was chaos. So the Cleveland Indians, they sat down. They thought, you know what? We have to make sure nothing like this ever happens again. We have to make sure an idea like this does not facilitate again. So what they did is they tried again a month later. But they added a drinking limit. They added a drinks limit. Because what happened pretty much is that they would just have a truck, and they'd have one girl pouring the beer, one girl collecting the money. And it didn't really go as planned because of how mobbed these things got. So what happened is the mob flipped the table over, and the girls just fucked off. We're not getting marked out for a bunch of alcoholics from Cleveland, pretty much. So then they started pouring the tap
Not worth
into their
it.
mouths.
10% beer.
Yeah. So
Oh. Yeah.
That's probably my favorite baseball stories. SportsCenter did a really good mini documentary about it where they found some of the fans, and one of the fans that they interviewed went on to win Citizen of the Year in his local town, which made me smile. So yeah, that wasn't even on the list. I just know that by heart. And Shane is the one that showed me the video. We watched it the first time a few years ago. We thought it was really funny. So for Christmas, I got him a mug that's a replica of the cups from 10 Cent Beer Night. Which I thought was pretty cool. In 1880, 9 balls were required for a walk.
What?
Yeah, 9 balls.
That's
Dude, surely, if you're a professional pitcher, you're not throwing 9 balls in a single at-bat. There probably weren't any walks until they changed the rule to 4, if that's the case. How you throwing
they
9
were
balls?
throwing 200 pitches, some of them. Some of them threw up to 200 pitches, didn't they?
No, they pitched a lot more as well. The top 100 pitchers, the most wins in one season, all have 50. When Garrett Crochet, I think, had the most last year, 18, because they played so many more games. But it's because they didn't throw the ball as hard as they do now. They weren't throwing at 103 miles per hour like Chapman is. So, in 1884, Chicago White Stockings, not White Sox, White Stockings infielder Ned Williamson hit 27 home runs, which was a new record. The interesting thing is, he hit 2 home runs the season before. So, for instance, the White Sox had the shortest outfield wall in the whole league, and the rule was if it went over the fence, it was just a double because it was so short. But it reached a point the White Sox had disadvantage because you couldn't hit a home run there. No matter how far you hit it, it would only be a double. So they went, you know what, we're going to change the rule to make it more fair. If you hit over the fence, it's a home run. That was the season, 1884, when Ned Williamson hit 27 home runs in one season, hitting 2 the year before. So after he hit 27, they went, you know what, maybe we shouldn't have done that. They changed the rule back, he hit 3 the next year. They changed the rule a year later, and Williamson... his record of 27 home runs in 1 year stood for 35 years, and it wasn't broken until Babe Ruth broke it in 1919.
What? Yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of see why it was the way it was. I have 2 more stories for you. This is my favorite one from today.
Okay.
Charlie Sweeney was an ace for Major League side Providence, your neck of the woods, Providence Grays in 1884. He showed up to a game drunk and still started because they didn't really have anyone else to pitch. When they tried to pull him after 5 innings, he refused to come out of the game. They tried to pull him again after the 7th inning and threatened him with a $50 fine, which is a bit closer to $1,700 today. He left the game with a prostitute on each arm, which then got him banned from the league. Apparently, you can't leave the game with 2 prosies. Frowned upon in I think this was in the 1880s, I want to say, maybe 1890s. It was a crazy time. because the Grays already had an injury crisis. The reason he played drunk in the first was because they had an injury crisis. Because they were so tight on players, pretty much they couldn't really afford to lose a player like that. But they didn't bring him back. They didn't reinstate him. They didn't make a new signing. What they did is they had a man named Old Hoss Radbourne start 40 of the next 43 games. He went on to win 36 of those games and won 59, some people believe 60 games in a single season, which is a record that will never be broken. It's like what I said not too long ago. Garrett Crochet got 18 wins last season. That was, I'm pretty sure, the most in the league. If not, it was one of the most. The most wins you're going to get now as a starting pitcher is 20. This guy got 60 because one guy wanted to fuck in the 7th inning, so he left.
That's incredible.
I respect
that,
it.
Sorry, that reminds me.
I'm a supporter of him.
Yeah, have you heard Mickey Mantle's favorite moment as a Yankee?
No.
I heard about this. I forget if this is the exact context, but I remember at least how it ends. Basically, Mickey Mantle, he hit a home run in a game. He goes out to the outfield, sees this girl he finds very attractive. Like 2 plays later, he injures his, like he basically tears his ACL. Like this, like is almost like affects him for the rest of his career. I think he was the first player in baseball to have like a full ACL or his Achilles tear. But he said when he went to the medical tent, he got his dick sucked, and that was his favorite moment. A Yankees player under the rafters. He said, "I was like, holy shit, that's a fucking goat."
Those were the good old days. Well, it's good because I got 2 vaccinations today for yellow fever and typhoid for traveling, and that didn't quite happen. But when I was doing it, the nurse was talking to me to get my mind off things. They probably didn't have very strong anesthetic back in the day, so if you're getting operated on, if you're getting your ACL torn,
No.
dude, little blowy under in the blue tent. That's probably what happens in the NFL. Like, dude, you can't tell me there isn't a bunch of people in like Deshaun Watson's tent ready to do that.
That's why they don't like people in the blue tent.
Yeah.
Give them some privacy.
Baseball is not a real sport, but I mean that in the best way possible. I am glad the baseball season is back.
What was your last one? Did I steal from you? Sorry.
Oh no, that was the last one. That was the last one. But that's a hell of a story as well.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking forward to going to Fenway this summer. That's something we should definitely get on. Nothing beats going to Fenway in the summer. Just like summer night, hot dog, baseball game, sunset, underperforming Red Sox team. Nothing beats it.
Yeah, no, that's peak Bostonian right there.
Go to Bova after. Oh, it's just the best. But yeah, no, we definitely got to get to some
I
games.
usually just go right home.